always on our gadgets and phones. So let's talk about what's really going to happen with data consumption. Let's talk about the Jio FB deal, how that changes the dynamics for the telecom industry, and who better than Sanjay Kapoor joining in on the show right now. And we also have with us Rajiv Sharma joining in from SBICAP Securities. Gentlemen, hi, morning. Good to have you on the show. Sanjay, if I could start with you. I mean, clearly it seems that heydays are back for the telecom. Just looking at this deal which has happened and the kind of valuations that it's happened at, could we see substantial value creation, Sanjay, for tech giants looking to tie up with Indian telecom players? I mean, so to speak, tap on the Fi Digital opportunity.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. And I agree with you, Asha. I mean, at the end of the day, this is probably first time after many years that if you are associated with telecom and an employee of telecom, you feel proud about it because you are doing something good other than creating large companies. And secondly, in the midst of COVID, if there's one sector that has not got as much of a hit, it's really telecom, where the consumption has gone. How much of monetization has happened, the results will speak for themselves. But clearly, there are good things. And in the midst of all this, if you have a deal worth $5 billion plus happening between Jio and Facebook, that can only tell you that there is confidence in the telecommunications market in India, in the data services in India, and that FDI is still looking at India very positively. I think this marriage between the two companies is very symbiotic, and I think means equally well for both. Contrary to the belief of some, this is not a merger. This is a 9.9% investment and for 9.9% shares. And therefore, there'll be some rights which both will enjoy, some benefits that both will enjoy with each other. I think if you really look at Jio, it's a win-win because, there is Facebook, there's Instagram, there is WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is a very potent application. Virtually 400 million Indians sleep to that application and wake up to that application. If they don't wake up in the middle of the night and check it as well, many do, right? And you have such a potent application on their side. And when you look at Facebook, obviously they have been struggling to get legitimacy and approvals for WhatsApp Pay. I think that should provide them some entry into the payment space in India, which the world is really looking at very seriously because you can't get into China. So India becomes the single largest market for payments. And then Facebook faces challenges from TikTok, faces challenges from WeChat. And I think, this puts them in good stead. So I think it's a great marriage between the two. It should be beneficial. And on the other side, Facebook has delineated itself from any oil risks, and therefore the investment is only in the platform company. So I think it's a win-win, a very good signal for the Indian telecom industry. And once again, access, which was really becoming a commodity, is at the helm. Of course, the challenge that all telecom players have is that the networks are oriented for commercial towers and buildings. Now the consumption has moved to residences. And I'm not sure if residences everywhere in the country are getting the right signals, the right bandwidths that's required. But it would mean that in future, the telecom companies will have to reorient their services to also cater to work from home and also provide entertainment bandwidth at home, gaming bandwidth at home, and so on and so forth. But I think overall, it's a good scenario for telecom, not as bad given the COVID crisis.
Yeah, bandwidth continues to be the challenge. But tell me, Sanjay, what does it mean for the incumbents? The likes of Vodafone Idea as well as Bharti could already present a very high foreign investment, limit them to look at and explore opportunities like Facebook, Jio?
Facebook is not a telecom investor. I'd be very surprised if they made this investment in Jio, with an intention to say, I want their Jio telecom business to grow. They've done it because they want their business to grow. So it's a strategic partner which has come in because they bring in the content. They also have a great following on customers all across. I think it's a choice. Airtel, for sure, given their balance sheet even today, can attract investment into the company. Whether they want a strategic investor to come or whether they want a financial investor to come is a matter of choice that they have to pick up based on their strategy. I think the problem will be with VIL. How do they attract any investment? And the fact is that this is an investment-hungry industry, and going forward, there is tons of money required to actually first reorient networks, provide for more data, and then transform the networks to 5G and probably 6G going forward. How will the money for all that come? And we still have not got over with the AGR issue. It might be in abeyance, but it will somewhere come back. And you have to pay for a very, very expensive spectrum in this country, and also pay a very high part of your top line, almost 30% to the exchequers in some form or the other. And the prices are still at bay. Now, the question is, with all this money coming into Jio, will Jio allow prices to go up? Or now that they have cash, they'll probably keep it suppressed for a while, which will make life of VIL even more difficult than earlier. So I guess Airtel probably has the leeway to borrow money, but it's the VIL which will be a question mark.
Rajiv, is there scope of further re-rating for Bharti Airtel, and what's your view on a Vodafone idea?
Hi. So, just on your previous question, I believe it is more in interest of the large FMCG giants to really, worry about this Jio-Facebook deal. Then so it is, about Bharti really worrying about this deal. The fact of the matter is that the Jio Mart, if it is able to consolidate 3 to 4 million Kirana shops, then what we are talking about is a super distributor. And then the bargaining power of the large giants like HUL and PNG, FMCG giants, and the kind of multiples they enjoy today, it could come under big question mark. So they would be leading the discussion, if any, with the likes of Bharti and Vodafone. It doesn't matter what is the situation with Vodafone, because they have the basic connectivity, they have the basic subscribers, and these large FMCG giants should be pushing the incumbent telcos to get into this space. And remember that HUL has already got its POS there, and it has been trying to work on this part, but it will not be able to match the scale of a telco. So it really would need a strategic partnership with the telcos. Bharti will be best placed. And we've seen Bharti cutting so many deals, fundraising. So I don't think that competition, particularly Bharti, is going to watch this. There will be more players like PhonePe, Paytm willing to participate and have strategic tie-ups with Bharti. And it is all about the back end, the Kirana side. WhatsApp Pay will be available to Bharti as well. It is the Kirana side, the back end, the JioMart, which needs to work on. So that's my 2 cents on the thing.
Okay. Sanjay, data consumption has also seen, a huge jump, of course, as India works from home. What are some of the behavioral changes you anticipate post the lockdown, and that could be a possible lead for data consumption going forward as well?
I think $1 million question. I was on a very interesting call last evening with some very global luminaries on the call. And I think across the board, the sentiment is that the world doesn't believe that the same number of people will go back to office once the COVID settles down, which means that either some people will not have jobs, or there'll be a lot of people who will work from home. So there'll be a reorientation of how data gets consumed, because once you're home, one of the habits that has changed is that a lot of linear television has gone out of your life. And, it's the interactive television which is there. And Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hotstar, all these are, in vogue. Will this continue, or will people start going to cinema halls to watch movies is a question. Then there's a reorientation of the entire supply chains. People, who have their supply chains spread all across the world, some in Philippines, some in India, China, will they all start consolidating to get all these things back into their environments is again a question that is posed to everybody. But I think very clearly work from home will become a norm. Nobody had expected to experiment at this scale. I think the scale has made people really, concentrate, and there'll be new, norms written, new SOPs written, as they call playbooks, for everything that happens. And I think this whole stuff about sanitization is not going away. So a lot of office spaces for people who go to offices will look like hospitals to some extent, because sanitization will have to be done. COVID's not going away out of our lives. So I think a lot of things will change. Data will move to homes. More data will get consumed because physicality of meetings and conferences will go down, at least for a while. Travel will go down for a bit, and the networks will have to be reoriented. Content will have to be reoriented. And, it's a new way of life that all of us will live. How much will get monetized is a question mark. Even now, if 20-30% of data goes up, there was so much of data available to you and me. We were getting 3 gigs, per day, and we were not consuming that. So we were rolling over that data. Now, are we going to be paying extra to the telecom companies? I don't think so. So I think the whole stuff is for these extra capacities that they end up creating. How much will they monetize? And secondly, given the money is now available to Jio, will they go up on prices, or now they've done what they've done, and for a while they'll have to accommodate this extra data in the same prices that have been paid to them? So that's really a question that will get answered.
Going to be calling the shots for a while, as they have been previously. But Sanjay, good to have you on the show. Rajiv, glad that you could as well take time out and speak with us today. We should have a longer discussion on how consumer behavior is going to change and how data consumption is going to be perhaps at some later stage. For now, I have